you'd mentioned Johnny B. Bad. We talked about how the character kind of came about last time we spoke. Dusty Rhodes was very instrumental with that character, and you got paired up with Teddy Long as your manager. How did the two of you cross paths?
I mean, obviously, I was very green, and Teddy was an experienced person in the business, so they put me with him to help with the talking and the points of what we wanted to come across until I learned on my own more and more. Remember, I signed my first contract in 1991. I only had a couple matches under my belt, independent matches, so I really was green. But working with Teddy was so much fun. I mean, we really started really taking this character to another level, with all our little catchphrases, the kiss that don't miss. I'm so outrageous, it's contagious. I don't sit down, I get down. And the list goes on and on. And we come up with, do the boxing things. He'd hold the hand mitts up for me. And then we always had it so the last thing was the left hook and the hand would go flying off into the crowd. We just had a lot of fun. We'd be dancing in the ring to the music, and then that's where I became a fan favorite so quickly. And then they split Teddy and I up, which I wish we could have stayed together much longer. We were really killing it, having fun doing that. But the fans started really liking it because then I started coming out with the bad blaster and the frisbees and making my entrance was often much longer than my matches. So it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's always amazing when you have these like flashy characters with some pretty cool entrances. Who came up with like the outfits and the costumes for the character?
Well, Sandra Gray, who is very prominent, probably the best seamstress in wrestling history. Um, Before that, she just made clothes for kids that danced. And I remember we put an ad in the paper looking for someone that could make costumes. We wanted to really take it outrageous. And when Sandra met me, she came to my home and we sat down and we started drawing up and she coming up with ideas, the capes and the robes and all these extravagant things that she was able to make. And so I was the first one that she made costumes for. Now she makes like Cody Rhodes's stuff and Roman Reigns and a bunch of the guys, top guys. She only works for a couple guys now, but me and her really had a lot of fun doing it. And she loved seeing her creations on television. And we just got more and more outrageous.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking about some of the promos you were cutting, like that Muhammad Ali-esque kind of
Yeah.
rhymes. Those is so amazing, watching those back. You got to work with guys like Stone Cold when he was stunning Steve Austin, and also got to work with DDP and amongst many others. What was it like working with those guys?
I was so blessed to be in wrestling when I was because it was like the golden era of wrestling, the WCW days and the Attitude Era. And wrestling the top guys, I'm talking about Sting and Ric Flair and Stone Cold and Undertaker and Triple H and DDP, and the list goes on and on. Steve Regal, when I won my first title from him. There's so many great wrestlers that I was blessed to be able to be in the ring with. And it's something like wrestling. Like I'll give you an example of wrestling a guy like Stone Cold Steve Austin. When he was stunning Steve in WCW, we wrestled hundreds of times because we wrestled in not only WCW for the U.S. title over and over, or WCW television title, or whatever it was, and then of course both jump and ship to WWE, and then wrestling for the Intercontinental title, and just so many memories of guys like that. And Triple H, being on the road with him because we were both in WCW and WWE together. So another guy with hundreds of matches. DDP, I can't tell you how many pay-per-views we opened against each other. And one of my closest friends. I mean, we both live about 20 minutes apart here in Atlanta. And so, I just looking back on my career and said, wow, what a great time to be in this industry. Because you had the Monday Night Wars too. People are flipping back and forth, and you hope that your segment really pulls in the viewers. And working with Sable back then, being the bad guy, really got high marks, and a lot of people wanted to see that because she was always going to one up me, no matter what I did to her.